Be present in nearly 100 experiences covering 20 genres. Virtual Presence Productions.
Hi, I'm Adam Contras, and this is Virtual Presence Podcast. Now, I had told you when I started this that I might not always have a special guest. I prefer to have a special guest because I was told that looking directly into the camera sometimes makes people uncomfortable. So I'm not really sure how to do this, but it is certainly past due time for an update on Virtual Presence. And we just don't have anybody at the moment who can be here. So May's podcast is going to have to be a one-on-one. But it's the biggest one yet. So much has happened. And I need to catch everybody up. Things seem to be moving kind of really fast now. Got another meeting in a couple days. And so when we last left this, we were in the throes of when the hell are we going to have the next meeting? As I've tried to explain in these podcasts and whenever I do interviews and those kind of things, getting people to put on the headset might be the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And these are people with a vested interest, meaning it already got to level 2 at this company, and the level 2 man is like, okay, I saw this, you have to see this level 3. And then the level 3 guy is like, can you just email it to me? Can you just, wait, I got to show up somewhere? And the guy's got to physically bring me the head, and it all goes off the rails. So like 4 weeks will pass. And I was specifically frustrated because of the fact that the NBA and the NHL seasons were ending. And I was like, hey, I don't mean to be a jerk about this, but if we're going to do these tests, if we're going to show what we can do with access, time is running out. As of this recording, both the LA Clippers and the LA Kings are bye-bye. Just got in, but I'm giving away the lead here. We got in. Soon after that last podcast, I had the meeting, and basically it was a meeting where the guy that makes the decision, he could have made the decision 4 weeks ago, but he wanted the VP to see it just kind of so he's like, you said yes if I somehow did something awful, which I get. Listen, man, handing a random person who is not technically under a contract this kind of access is not wise usually. Granted, I have the proof from the NFL reel that I have done this in a professional manner and the results were very good, but it's still, I have to imagine part of them as they were typing my name in, they were thinking, the fuck are we thinking? What are we doing? Which is also why I'm not sharing anything. Even I think I did share me walking out of a parking garage. I'm like, I can't, because I'm trying to document what's happening for the journey, but not upset any apple carts when it comes to this being an actual thing. So we had a meeting on, I think it was a Tuesday, and it was like, well, if we're going to do this, the last NHL game before the playoffs was that Thursday. And then game 1, they didn't even cover game 1. Game 2 was the following Tuesday, which ended up being, the Clippers got wonked in 6 games. We would have only had one other chance. So they just pulled the trigger. And I was able to get full access to the last regular season Kings game and full access to game 2 of the playoffs for the NBA stuff. And cut to the end. This footage, my God, I don't even know where to start. The footage is, it's just so much better than I thought. And the feeling of presence and access, I guess I gotta talk about the presence thing, is unbelievable. Let me mention presence. The very first video blog I did, like 19 months ago, had this trusty hat in this bar, was called Presence. I didn't think much of it at the time, but when I was trying to figure out how to start off this portion of the journey, that was the only thing I could come up with, which is this unbelievable sense of you're sitting here at the bar with me. It's just, that's why it feels awkward when I'm looking into the camera, because you're like, am I supposed to say something? It's like an out-of-body experience, really, you know, because you can't move your arms, you can't talk to me, but here we are. You do know at some point this will be streamable, and you will absolutely be able to talk to me. The future is kind of getting here quickly. But I did that first video, and when I got the ability to be in the dugout with a baseball, that was the first time I went, dude, you know what would be awesome? Is to make a series of Major League presence, NBA presence, NFL presence, NHL. Like, this is such a unique thing. And that's where that kind of started. And then, of course, after the NFL reel, that's what the NFL reel is called, NFL presence. And I remember at the time thinking and talking to lawyers and attorneys, like, you can't really trademark the word presence, but I want to own this. Like, I named my company Virtual Presence Productions. Man, I'm not wearing my shirt. Damn. Well, I guess it's nice that I do have other shirts, and you know that, because I've worn it a lot. And so I named my company Virtual Presence, and I was like, how on earth am I ever going to prove that this is a thing, that I can stamp my flag on, this is what we provide, this type of presence? Because immersive doesn't quite cut it for me. Immersive video is way too vague. For some reason, the word presence works. So I can now show you at least the openings to what I was able to pull off, which is obviously first NFL presence. And then we've got NHL presence. And these are all temporary, not real graphics yet. This is just an idea. Of course, NBA presence. And last but not least, MLB presence. Now that is from the AAA Columbus Clippers. I have access to the Anaheim Angels to do something with them as well, but at some point, we have enough. And, and I told them that. I was like, listen, obviously it's summer. There's going to be plenty of baseball to be had and things that we can capture. But in an effort to get this to people as fast as possible, I'm going to be making a series of reels about all of this, meaning Valley Sports is a regional sports network across the whole country, and they have their own app, Valley Sports Plus, that if you subscribe, you get to see your local teams, so on and so forth. But that app could also be in your VR headset, and you could still watch your local team, your flat, all that kind of stuff. And it will also include the immersive video that I'm putting together. And what I found out that I wasn't really sure I would get is, my goodness, how many pieces of content you can get from one shoot. Easily 6 to 8 pieces, and that's without any help. Meaning, nobody set up interviews, I didn't actually have post-game press conference access. Like, there's probably 10. For example, when I was at the Mavericks Clippers game, I got there early enough to see the Slam Squad warming up. I might have to show a clip of this. It's the coolest freaking thing I've ever seen. You don't ever get to see this from these angles unless you're in the Slam Squad. I'm assuming this isn't going to upset Bally. I don't want to upset anybody. Right now, we're really concerned about upsetting the Clippers or upsetting the Kings. Some of the reels we're going to make is specifically for them, so they allow us a little more access, and so they understand what it is we're trying to do. Then the other reels will be specifically for all the head of the decision making for the whole region of Valley Sports, which I believe we could shoot weekly and produce daily content. That's how much stuff there's, and then some, and then some, and then some. You go to a different arena. There's, I got to speak to Daryl Evans at the Crypto for NHL. He's a infamous LA Kings guy. He's got the whole Miracle on Manchester thing, which I didn't know about until I met him. Just sitting there talking to him about how he feels to be between the benches. And again, there's so much content because everything is new with this camera. And I've really nailed how to shoot some of this stuff mobile, which is really the biggest deterrent right now to this. Apple's the only one doing it, and they're doing it well, of course, but they're doing it so over the top static. I mean, I have to imagine there's hundreds of thousands of dollars involved in these shoots because it's so much. That is not the case with what I'm doing because I'm completely mobile and I can pull stuff off in a way that doesn't require 10 people and these huge, massive rigs and this. Because teams aren't going to give you that. That's where you start to see the problem. What I was able to get without being given anything really, it's great because it's just me standing there. I can kind of be a ninja in this case. The slam dunk thing. Just here's a couple.
We gon' rock it to the
Oh, it's too easy for AJ. AG, Storm, what's up? Storm, what's up, AG?
I mean, now just imagine. I didn't show any NBA players. Hopefully, I don't want to upset anybody, but it's crazy to not show you. Like, this stuff is unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable. We even did the truck, the broadcast truck, where, I know you've seen clips of it in documentaries, and like, camera 2 and take 2, and it's loud, and you're like, do you know how different it is sitting there with this camera and being able to see all the cameras and seeing the red light go from this to this, and they say, get ready, camera 6, and you go, oh, okay, so this is what they're going to do, and then you see it. Like, I made like an 8 or 9 minute piece. It could have been a half an hour for me. Maybe I'm just a dork, but that's the point, is that this happens in every broadcast, in every arena, and there's different flavors to every arena and every stadium and those kind of things. There's just so many ways this can go. And the same with the NFL. It's not like the NFL is over. The merger just hasn't gone through. I talked to my guy at the NFL who's also quite clearly waiting to see if this merger is going to go through. And he's like, nope, don't know what to tell you. Because we are all frozen until that happens. Obviously, I have not been waiting. And to be perfectly honest, the Valley Sports thing it's way bigger because you've got a company that really needs to stand out, and I think people would subscribe to this app that aren't even in the cities that these people are just to experience these moments. Kyrie talked to the camera. Kyrie saw the VR on my camera. He went, hey, if people at home see that in VR? I shook my head, and he goes, haha, welcome, and then walked away. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's an amazing, that's like what you dream of, and nobody had even spoken to them. Now imagine if all the players knew what we were doing. Imagine all the players get to see some of this. The interaction is going to be unbelievable. Even when there is an interaction. During the starting lineups, I kind of pushed into a corner by a guard, and they told me I wasn't going to be able to shoot those, but I was stuck. And I was like, well, I'm just going to stand here. I was on the court, but not on the court. And Russell Westbrook walks right up to the camera to do the little plastic thingy on his the square where you scuff your feet up so it's more sticky. And he's right there at the camera, like this close, going, doing some kind of crazy shit. Like the dude is intense. And to watch him and then see all the fire going off and see all the starting lineups announced, again, the energy of what the arena feels like. Guys, it's so much bigger than the NFL was. NFL was cool because just the grandeur of it all looks like the Roman Colosseum, like it's this massive, huge, and you can see that in the Lucha Libre thing that I did post because it didn't involve anybody in the NFL. That's cool and epic and huge, but the crowd noise and the energy inside an arena before a playoff game, it's something that does not get translated on TV. And yes, I still think we're 10 to 20 years away from live TV being shot like this. They'll do it earlier, but I don't think it'll be adopted because I think people like the communal aspect of watching sports with their friends. And unless everybody has the headset or the glasses, it's gonna, But, my God, all the other stuff, all the stories surrounding the game, all the warm-ups of every star, even if you're a Clippers fan, it's cool to see Kyrie and Luka warm up, but it was also awesome to see Kawhi, Paul George, Harden, and Westbrook warm up, and we got all that. For the NHL, it's a little harder because they're so covered, but when you're right there on the ice, when you're right there up against the glass and it slams into you, and you're looking at the puck like this, because you're there, woo! It is, it's unbelievable. Not an NHL fan. One of the coolest things I think I've ever seen was watching it straight up against the glass and how fast and amazing these players are. And that was during the game. The pregame warm-ups are a whole other thing. There's everybody walking on and giving you a high five as they go onto the ice. The Zamboni, right? Like there's all these things that will matter to every region. And it doesn't even matter. A Zamboni ride in crypto and a Zamboni ride, in Dallas or like it's all to that fan. They want to see it in their home arena. So there's that content. And you start to see that if you trickle this out, it's going to be in unbelievably high demand. So I've nailed down, 3 of the 4 major league sports, but honestly, all 4, because the baseball stuff that I got from the Guardians AAA team, Columbus Clippers, it's just, it's actually probably more than I'll be able to get at the Angels because I'm in the freaking dugout during a grand slam. Like, whew. But again, we're here. We've done it. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't have asked for more. The access they gave a guy just on a gut feeling is amazing. Which brings me to JD, who you saw here with me at the beginning of February. And 3 months later, his contact is what made this happen. And he did it just to help. And of course, guess who is the first member of my production crew? The moment it's necessary. Yeah, JD. My God. I don't want to over-exaggerate. It was, you know what I mean? I would have done the same thing. Hey, this is amazing. I'll totally write an email to so-and-so. But considering what happened with the NFL and the person that did that without telling me and then inserted himself in the middle and tried to produce and direct it, although he had no experience, and then it got really ugly really fast. And he was an actual friend, long-term friend. JD, I never met him before. I spoke to him on the phone 8 years ago. 8 years ago. And we just had a nice conversation. He watched it, thought it was amazing, and wanted to be involved and helped me pass it on. And then when it got to the next level, I called him. I'm like, okay, dude, we're doing this, but I don't have a space for you here. We got to define. He's like, Adam, you go win the day. Go kick ass. You're the guy that knows how to do all this stuff. Go get it. When it comes time that you're going to need a producer over there, I'm like, please think of me. I'm like, think of you. Shit. So, of course, and again, I say all of this stuff, just like with the employee one that I had, Jack, the last podcast. I will never forget the fact that he believed and wanted to help. So I'm very excited because I'm starting to get a group of people around that get it, that want to help, and now my contact at Bally, who is helping, you could tell he was excited because of the 2 shoots I did. He was there. He's an executive producer, so he was in the truck, and we'd go back and forth. And, they were so concerned. They're like, don't talk directly to the players unless spoken to. Like, they were like, please don't fuck this up. And I was like, I'm not saying a damn thing. That's why I put the VR on there, so I don't have to say anything. And it worked. It's like magic. People see 2 lenses and the word VR. They're like, they get it. And now not every player noticed it. Kyrie was the only one, but imagine what would happen if the players knew ahead of time, which is what we're hoping to get. It's going to start opening up. And then once they're actually in the headset and they can see something, oh my God. So everything is really good. I'm going to end it at that. A meeting in a couple days on who the specific audience is going to be for these reels, what we're going to do next, and by the end of this month, man, it feels like everything's gonna really shift. That's it. Virtual presence. We really did it. Like, my God. I took that Super Bowl loss, and it kicked me into the next level, which is kind of crazy. Had that not happened, had that Super Bowl not happened, there'd be no JD, I would have no reason to. It's funny how sometimes what feels like the worst thing at the time ends up being the catalyst for something even bigger. So I'll stop all the inspirational bullshit. Wish me luck.
Oh, and there's a lot more of these. Please check out my other VRLOGs and subscribe and comment. It means the world to me.